Okay, good evening all. I currently have G3IUZ, 2E0EHH, G0MJW, GI4DOH and G4HJW. Let's put some power into it. That's a bit better. Just keeping the PA not too warm while I reserve the channel. Well, thank you all for watching today's BATC CAT 21. I reckon we had around 130 viewers that I could count, together with others on watching on QO-100 and the like. And thanks for Mike for doing the engineering link on QO-100. That was very, very useful to get out, to be seen by other people as well. Okay, without further ado then, I'll put it round to Roger. Good evening, Roger. G3IUZ to take it, G8GKQ and the BATC Net.
Right, just check we've got some audio for a moment. Right. Well, good evening, Dave, and others who've joined us this evening. I really just wanted to come on just for a few moments. Nothing particular to say other than thank you very much indeed for tremendous a day with some marvelous contributions. I particularly appreciated the EMF presentation. Being a little anxious about exactly what's going on regarding the output from my dish, being in the terrace, and I'm firing down the line of the terrace, so over the tops of the chimneys, I think. But that was very reassuring. But I thought the whole day was extremely useful. As very much a newcomer to DATV, although one of these days on the net I will bore you with my life at the BBC in the early 1950s with a few ancient slides of 3.5-inch image orthicons and vidicons and things, but that's for another time. But this is a re-entry into the world of vision as far as I'm concerned after getting on for 70 years. So anyway, so thank you Dave, thank you for all who were involved, greatly appreciated, and the education deepens to some extent, let me just put it that way, for these remaining grey cells. So it goes to 2E0EHH, I think, and I won't come back on. I will be watching for a little while, but I think I need to spend some time with my dear and long-suffering wife at some point today. So 2E0EHH to take it. This is G3IUZ and the BATC Net on.
Okay, I'm 2E0EHH and the group. Thanks, Roger. Yes, I'd like to add my thanks, appreciation, all those who did the presentation today. It there's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes, you know, and I want to thank all those for doing it. I thought the EMF was blowing my mind, if I'm honest, what mind I've got left, HI, but you know, I could cope with some of it, but it was just too much to take in. But we've all got to learn it and absorb it, but I've pretty been waiting for a lot of the tables to come out where hopefully you can check your details and be sure that you know, we're not breaking any laws. Right, you talked about the power supply on the Ryde. I found my bits. I haven't got OBS working because I don't know how to do it yet, so you're going to have to put up with my wobbly can. Oh, there's my drink as well. Where is it? There you go. It's coming into focus. So that's the BATC Ryde version 1. I think that's where I'll pay pins. But I mean, self-explanatory. You put all the components on. But where do you add the power to this? Obviously, it's through the pins. But I mean, what question I'm trying to ask is, I used to do it through. I used to do the Pi 4 through the Ryde amplifier power supply itself, but you know, they said that it's more reliable to go through the pins. I understand the concept of the pins and bisque fitting, but then where do you put the other pins? How do you get the power to this board? It's confusing me a little bit. But anyway, that's one of my questions. I say it'd be a lot better once I get OBS and streaming on OBS to do it. There you go, you're my ugly mug. But yes, it was a good long, very interesting and long for my brain cells anyway. But here's a cheers to everybody on the BATC for doing the streaming, and eventually got on the stream on the Zoom, because I didn't know where the invite was, but I didn't realise if they put the invite on the ATV download. So once I checked that, then it was on the email, so I should have checked that first, but never mind. I learned better time. Anyway, that's from waffling on. Mike M0 MJW, take it. I'll go back to standby, and just BATC Net. Mike, I'm going to stop the carrier now. You can continue. Cheers, pal. See you.
Okay, well, there may or may not be audio and video. Just setting up, and I'm not really set up, and I'm having some issues with OBS actually. I don't know if anyone else has discovered this, but OBS, the latest version, seems to be losing cameras, and I'm having problems with selecting different ones. I've got two C920s, and they used to both work fine, and now one or the other works. Sometimes both work, but not very often, so very odd. So the bench camera, for example, is currently black, but that wasn't actually what I was going to show. What I was going to show was this one, and the reason for showing this one is, apart from the flicker, and sorry about that, I haven't quite figured out how to control it properly, that is the EasyCam, the Polycom camera, via this new interface that I got today, which I will show you on the bench camera, which is of course black, so that's not particularly helpful, is it? But I can probably show you on the other camera if I go onto this one and then start manipulating it, but that involves running some software which may or may not start up properly, because as I said, I was not quite ready when we started, because I've been busy listening to Stereo Underground. Yeah, I don't think it's quite running. Let's just see if it will move. Is it going to move? No, it's not going to move, unfortunately. So I won't show that just yet, but well, I guess I can use the old-fashioned turn it round method. There it is. Polycom camera, and it requires some weird system to drive it. And it turns out that it's basically 1080p HD, whatever it's called, I don't know, DVI, something like that, analog, and it works. So yeah, there we go. And I got hold of a nice new device earlier in the week. I'm just going to see if I can get the bench camera to come on, because suggested that I select 720p and that would fix it. I'd be interested to know if that is the case, but let's have a go and see what it does. No, it's not letting me select that, Dave, sorry, so that's not going to work, but there you go. I think it has problems with two cameras with the same name. I think that's the issue. And when it's got 3 or 4 of them, it really does start to get confused. Anyway, Nigel, to answer your question, on that little board there is a fuse, and there's a connector next to the fuse. That connector is for putting 5 volts in, so you don't have to bother fitting the sill resistors or any of the other resistors, or the big 16-way connector, but there's a 2-way connector which is 5 volts in, and it should be labelled, but it's all on the wiki, and that connects to the 2 pins on the GPIO header via the fuse. So that should be the way to do it. Just don't connect it the wrong way around. I don't think there's reverse polarity protection, but that should give you a good connection to ground and to plus 5 volts, which would be better if that is indeed the problem that you're suffering, but I'm not sure it is. So let's see, who do I pass it on to? I've got to pass it on to Richard, GI4DOH, and I'll see if I can fix the bench camera to show you a picture of this little interface I got off eBay. But it's a pretty simple thing, and not very expensive. The only other thing I was going to mention was I've developed a hat. No, sorry, not hat. We're calling them roofs, aren't we? A roof for the Raspberry Pi that does the Ryde connection. So Colin's developed one that does the port down connections. I've done one that does the Ryde. So it's basically an upgrade to the one that you were showing earlier, Nigel. And it includes a fan. I've ordered some prototype PCBs from JLC PCB to see if they work or not. I'll get those in a couple of weeks and we'll find out. I'm a bit concerned though that their Gerber viewer doesn't show the hole in the PCB which is necessary for the fan to provide the cooling, and if they don't root that out, then I'm going to have to do that with a drill, which will be a bit tedious, but hopefully the PCB itself will be fine. So with that, GI4DOH, G0MJW, over to you.
Transition. Find the button. Yes, G8MJW with the group. This is GI4DOH. I don't know what was up there. It would normally be, I think, side just a little bit, just checking on the screen there. Yeah, my OBS did an update last week or whatever, and I think I'm okay to just prove the point going over to the other camera, which I haven't used for a week or two. So that's okay, but don't know what else might. Until you use these things, you just don't know. Certainly a great day with the talks. It was most enjoyable, most informative the whole way through. I did have to nip out for a little while this afternoon, so I missed some of in GM3SEK's talk, but I'll catch up online at some stage and start an old talk. But in particular, because of my quest to get out portable and the rest, there was some good information there about filtering and preamps and all the rest, and I do have these little SAW filters for 23 centimeters and 70 centimeters, which would be good as bandpass filters to stop stuff below and above. So plenty of food for thought there. And I hadn't thought of using the 8-way switch in the reverse direction, obviously a suitable modification for the little mimic amplifier. So might find a totally self-contained unit or something like that to do all the filtering with obviously a masthead preamp. The other thing that I was still had time for today was to make a big hole in the side of the box here for trying to get a one-stop everything in the box for the ports down 4. So it's always very very delicate using a 40mm QMax cutter, because you hear things snapping, but they're just the inner bits. It does take quite a lot of force, and I'm pleased to say it's a very nice clean hole, and no harm done to anything else in the process. So enough for me for this round. I'll pass it on round to Bernie, G4HJW with the group. This is GI4DOH.
Yes, thank you, Richard. G4HJW, about 5 miles to the east of Cambridge. Well, it's been a reasonably nice day, although, like the others, I've been watching the online conference. It was very good. I'll just go onto the camera. It wasn't just the talks that were very good. I must say the quality, the technical quality, was first rate as well. So well done everybody on that. Right, just take that audio off. Sorry about that. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I agree about the EMF talk. That was needed for me. I know I shouldn't admit it, but I've done nothing to date, and I think that's really just pushed me into really starting to think about it, especially as November is the time when we're supposed to be, have all of that done. Something I must say about tonight. Nigel, your picture is super tonight. It really does look nice. It looks on a par with Mike's, which always looks nice. So I don't know what you've done, but yeah, that looked really, really good. So well done. JTT, I was looking through some of the old CQTVs during the week, and I came across one of your articles which spurred me on at the time before I knew you, and that was the one of taking an old laptop screen and buying a Chinese board that would interface with it. It worked very well with me, although the onboard TV, terrestrial TV, doesn't work. I don't know what standard they used over there, but it's perfectly good as a monitor, so thanks for putting that in. I'd never heard of that one before. Oh, and also good evening to anybody who's on or is watching tonight who has come on just by virtue of the conference. You're now getting an idea of what it's like. We can be quite slick. I think we are tonight. Other nights we tend not to be quite so, as we had when was it, on Thursday night. Now, you know, all the gremlins that we had Thursday night, the one thing I didn't mention, not only did I have problems with a laptop in here which had me panicking just before the net started, but I'm in the outdoor shack, and the patio door that I used for this shack, I think the bottom halfway through the net when I went out to do something. So I was left holding a very heavy door, trying to, as I let the cat out, who I knew would be on the keyboard otherwise, and making sure that didn't break. So there were gremlins of all sorts, weren't there, Thursday, but tonight has been perfect so far. Anyway, that'll do for me. It was just a case of coming on and saying, well, since you're on here, Dave, well, and Mike, well done both of you and everybody else. And yeah, very, very good. I enjoyed watching that. G7JTT, I'll pass it over to you. Oh, I know somebody likes having the card up there, identification card. I'll just give that a second or so. I think that should be enough. I'll pass it on to you, John. G7JTT and the net G4HJW.
Oh, hang on. Oh, is that going to work? Right. I think we're there. Okay, right, apologies. I hadn't spotted it was on a different frequency. I've not long been in, so excuse the scruffy look. Well, it's not like I'm ever that tidy, but just really to come on and say thanks to everybody. I managed to watch it up to about 11:30, 11:45 or so. Is it audio? Yeah. Well, anyway, hopefully that was an old message. I've got audio here anyway. Yes, I managed to watch up to about 11:30 before I get ready to go to work. Yeah, I know it was a build-up, wasn't it? Yeah. No, it's just going to sound completely wrong now, but it was interesting, more interesting, more interesting, more interesting. And it just kept building and building, and I really didn't want to leave, and I just had to go in the end. So I'm gutted, to say the least, that I've missed out all the other talks and stuff that are on there today. And I shall definitely be looking forward to the recording of it whenever it appears. To Bernie, dare I try and do some shaky cam? Probably not a good idea. I'm actually still using the monitor, it's just there. With regards to the TV side of it, if you go into the menus, and it's been a while since I've done it, so I'm going to try and remember how to do it now. Well, anyway, for another time. But there's a menu, there's a secret menu. So I know the code I wrote on the back of this thing is 1147, and you type that in, and it gives you up a secret menu. It's a installation menu type thing, and then from there you can actually change the different standards on the TV. It does work on 77's AM TV. I've used it on that a few times, so it's usable. And the other thing I did do, which made it even more useful when I used to use it portable, I had an old TV modulator, so it gave me an extra option. So I had what's it got? It's got VGA, HDMI, composite, and a TV. But by using the TV, it gave me another composite input as well. So, and that meant then it gave me, because you can turn the blue screen off. It then meant I could plumb in the 5.6, 5.8 gig stuff into it, and then that gives me it on there. So anyway, right, waffling as always. Just want to say thank you and much appreciated to everybody that's involved. And there are far too many to name, and there are plenty of them that probably won't ever get named because they're just way back in the background. But each and every one of you is well done, and we'll look forward to the next one. Right, I don't know waffling who's next now, so let me scroll on up. It looks as if it's PA3FBX next, G7JTT.
Okay, good evening, you guys. Thank you for the guys who organized this marvelous net survey this afternoon. I only had the opportunity to look the last part, basically the last 2-3 hours, due to my I needed to work this last night, and also coming night, and so I had to sleep somewhere during the day. But I followed the last part of the net, and it was great. I will try to attend the next time. It will be there because this is great for the information is being served to us. I've learned a great deal. One thing I learned is that there was a new version of Ryde, and I had a question on it. Would it work on a Mini Tuner Express? You know, the old Expresses which came original out, and I have a few of those in my local repeater because they are very small and easy to install, and run with the Ryde on that. And I'm quite afraid in updating that because it's remotely on site, obviously, and it's not easy to reach. If things go really wrong, I need to go there, climb a few stairs, and then figure out if I can solve the problem over there or need to take it home anyway. So what I did today is first installed my own Ryde update, and that worked pretty standard, pretty forward. Worked right off, no problems whatsoever. Did some nice improvement on timing, I believe. So I was quite happy there. Then I have a local guy here which still has the Express installed in his setup, and I did also the update there, which first it worked straight off. Immediately went to the beacon without any problem, showed it on the screen, worked straight off like expected. Then I tried other signals, 500 kc, worked also very nice. And then I put other stations, like the BATC came on, the net came on, the warning, and I connected with the quick tune to the 333 signal, and mine here straight off, no problem, worked fine on the Mini Tuner S, and his equipment didn't work on a 333 system. And I've tried several other stations, 250 and 300, 333, no problem, that didn't work. It is like it couldn't lock it, or it couldn't find it, or I'm not sure. It's not even showing signal strength or whatever information. It simply couldn't find. So first I thought, obviously, local oscillator frequency. So I fine-tuned the local oscillator, no problem. But still 333 and 250 on a Mini Tuner Express was not able. So I wonder if this one is known. I already put it also on the Ryde software update forum. Maybe people can confirm or tell me the workaround on that. Well, that is basically the story from this end. I see even in Canada they are watching us on the net, on the stream. So it's great, and obviously, Mike, don't be afraid. None of the questions are stupid. We are all beginners, and we have all to learn every day. So this is not a problem at all. Well, that's all for now. Microphone back to, I guess, Dave, if he has find the time to follow the net. Golf 8, Golf Kilo Quebec. from Papa Alpha number 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. And looking on my time, I still have one half an hour for listening out and maybe next round. PA3 Fox Bravo X-ray.
Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, Golf Kilo Quebec. Kill that. Stop shouting. Sorry about that. Right, Benno, the problem there, I suspect, is due to QuickTune. I chased this down for quite a while. I had a similar problem. QuickTune seems to do something funny about storing offsets. And if you start QuickTune with the wrong offset, if you start QuickTune with Ryde having the wrong offset, which would have been the case after the update because the offset isn't preserved through the update, QuickTune then preserves the wrong offset. So the answer to the problem is to turn them both off, turn Ryde off, turn QuickTune off, turn Ryde back on again, make sure the LO frequency is correct, and then start QuickTune again, and let QuickTune go and fetch the offset because it uses that offset. So I chased this around for quite a while, but suggest you try that, and I'd be interested to hear whether that cures it. But I thought I had a similar problem, and it was QuickTune that was to blame because it was just on the wrong frequency. And in fact, you could tell by if you right-click in QuickTune and on a different frequency and then select the symbol rate, it would lock. So give that a try, please, Benno. But good to hear the rest of the update works. At least it didn't break it. QuickTune must only fetch the bands once on startup, says Tim. Yeah, that's what I found. So make sure the band is right first. The offset is right before you start QuickTune. My apologies for being late on starting the stream. I'd totally forgotten to turn the streaming on from my second receiver. That 1080p DVI input looks really good, Mike. I'm really impressed with that, but it's clearly on 60 Hertz frame rate with the flashing. I had a problem with OBS where I couldn't select two camera inputs with 1080p. This was good 6 months ago. And I selected one to 720p and one to 1080p and it all worked, but seemed to be a funny OBS issue. Nigel, I sent you an email which has a link to that wiki page which shows you which pins to use on that GPIO board. And the way to get the power to those pins is quite simply to cut the C-type the USB-C connector off your power supply, or buy another power supply and sacrifice it, and solder them on, or solder them onto crimp them onto a plug if you're using the plugs on the board. So take a look at your email, and the links are there. But that's the way to go. It's good. It's good to know that you've got the right printed circuit board. Anyway, Nigel, and yes, I can confirm your picture looks really good tonight. We've had Mike K, VA3TEC, on the chat asking about streaming to Portsdown. It's quite complex, Mike. I would suggest you make sure it all works with a camera, either a C920 or a PiCam first. Maybe you've already done that. Then you need to run OBS, install the virtual camera plugin because the inbuilt virtual camera does not have audio, and then you run the F1 EJP script. You can post about your question exactly in the general ATV discussion section on the forum, and oh, I see that works. Yeah, post your question on the general ATV discussion section of the forum, and if things are in the wrong place, I'll move them to the right place. There are a couple of posts that went up there today that I need to move into different forums, so I routinely do that. But put your question up there and you'll get plenty of help. I try not to provide help on the well, not try not to, but I'm reluctant to provide help on all the streaming side because everybody's is different, and I need to keep my expertise for other bits. So there we are. Okay, well, I know Roger isn't coming on again. Rob, I wonder whether you're going to come on at all. Please pipe up if you are. But let's... Right, we'll have another round and you can come on at the end on the next round, Rob. So let's put it round to Nigel as Roger has dropped out. So 2E0EHH from GHGKQ and the BATC Net.
I'll just mute that. There we go. 2E0EHH and the BATC Net. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I saw the email and I haven't had a chance to read it fully yet, but yeah, I got it. And that's good. That's good. Mike, yeah, your cameras. Yeah, but you do pretty good. What you do better than I can at the moment. Bernie, thank you very much for your comments, mate. Much appreciated. The reason why I've got a better setup is basically I instead of trying to improve the 220 watt amplifiers, which Dave G8KKQ gave me a hand at a couple of times and done it. I still wasn't getting the right power out what I thought, and I didn't have the right heat sink and the fans, so I took the bullet. I don't know if that's the right word I'm getting, but and asked what's his Jim? That's it, James, amplifier man, to build me an amplifier which would do the trick. And it's once I get onto port doing OBS and camera work, I've got a host of slides, not too long, to show people and my journey through BATC and building a shack, and it's just work in progress. But at least I've got all my gear in one place. The wife's got her little shack to the right of me, because when I was building it, I could have one shack and incorporate that in the gardening tools and that, or put a bit of a partition wall, a brick wall through, so she got her bit separate to mine, and that works pretty good. John G7GTT, your video was a bit blurred in the background. I don't know if anybody else, unless I'm making it up. I don't think I am. Nothing wrong with your modulation or video, other than that it was seemed to be the background was out of focus. But yeah, and Mike, you saying, no, David, you saying about OBS, because that's the next stage I want to try and learn. I know I've got OBS, I've got the camera share, or the other share you said, but I just want to do, I had to put it all together. I know I'm still getting to grips with the basics, but I want to try and aim a little bit higher now, so as much help or indication where to look. And would be appreciated. But I think I'm waffling a bit now, so that's enough from me. I'm going to stay till the end because I enjoy it. The wife's indoors with a friend that having a Chinese and come straight up here. They've got a few beers and I've got a few beers, so that's it. But anyway, that's enough from me. I'll hand it back over to Mike, M0, MJW and the BATC Net, and I'm going back to standby. Take it away, Mike.
I'm not sure what's happening there. I think someone was transmitting on top of me because the power was bouncing up and down and mine wasn't. So yeah, and I've turned the power up, so I better turn it back down again. I've gone on to 2/3. I don't know if that will help. Yeah, I'm having some real problems with these cameras. I think maybe it's overloading the USB or something. Anyway, the bench camera is now the face camera. They've swapped over. The face camera no longer works, so I'll sort that out later. But I suspect it's a USB problem. The black box, the top middle of this image, is the adapter from one camera to the other, and they're both cameras are glitching now as well, so there's something definitely wrong with OBS. When it's got lots of cameras in there, it just can't seem to cope with it. So sorry about that, but I'll take out the HDMI capture card and that'll probably fix matters. And I'll come on to this other camera so you can see me. So yeah, it was a really good session. I was very impressed with Dave's starting talk. It was really good. Was it John? I can't remember. That was really interesting as well. I can't remember the name. Peter maybe. And then we had Ian talking about the EMC issues, and that was really good too. And we finished off with Noel. And of course we had Tim as well talking about the Ryde. So all that was really interesting. So it was great to see that. I was slightly distracted by trying to not always successfully stream it on QO-100, and I had a few issues there because things weren't working as expected, and Zoom is not very helpful in terms of capturing the video. So in the end I was using the stream and VLC, which seemed to be the best way to do it. But at one point VLC seemed to start locking up, and I thought it was a problem with the stream, but I think it was a problem with VLC, and those on the satellite will have seen freezing, particularly in Tim's talk, and that was actually a problem with VLC. So resetting VLC fixed that, and it didn't do it again. Okay, 7-3 everyone. Have a great weekend and a great week, and catch everyone probably next Thursday. I think I'd probably still pass it on to Richard. I think he might have said he wasn't coming back, but he's coming back anyway. So GI4DOH, round to you, G0MJW.
G0MJW of the group, GI4DOH. No, I'm still here, just biding my time, watching everything that's going on, and like everybody else, just really appreciate the things today. Tim's talk about the Ryde. I haven't really explored any of the configuration things or anything like that on it, and I haven't actually tried using the knocker or the mini tuner, which are sitting under the table here with the Ryde. I must do that sometime. While we've been talking, my printer has printed out a little grill to go over the big holes, so working, or a few hardware things achieved this evening as well. So not a lot else from me. I'll tootle on and listen into the rest of the things here, and then I'll drill the holes to secure the grill before the end of the evening. We wish you all 7-3s, and again thanks to all. I know an awful lot of time and effort goes into preparation of these things relative to the time that the actual talks take, so I appreciate that very much. Certainly learnt a few things, and it's nice to know that I'm probably compliant with my 1.2 meter dish here as far as EMS concerned, and the rest. So I'll pass it on round to Bernie, G4HJW of the group. This is GI4DOH. Good night, all.
GI4DOH in the group, G4HJW. Now, for once, I'm going to look at the streaming view of me as well, because I don't normally do that. I have screens in different places, and it makes that difficult. Just looking at all of that, I'll go on to the video and knock the audio off that. Right. Well, I'm quite pleased, really. There's plenty of things to come back on. John, thank you for that 4-digit number. I've made a note of that, and next time I use that screen, I'll have a look. That should be good. And Dave, I was really pleased today when you said that you're already liaising, would that be the right word, for 2 mini conferences next year, including one at Finningley, because you know I like to go up to Finningley. I know Kevin quite well, and I was brought up in that sort of area. So Nigel, you may be interested to know that. I was born and brought up on the south side of the Humber. I think you're just on the other side, aren't you? So, or in Yorkshire somewhere anyway. So we have to stick together. Oh, and another thing to you, John. Yeah, I did feel sorry that you had to leave the video, but hopefully you will be able to see it sometime in the future. I can only say to you, when you get to retirement age, because you did say on Thursday how old you were, and retirement is fantastic, I must say. For people who are lazy like me, the danger is that you just settle back a little bit too much, but so far that hasn't happened. And you know, on Thursday we were talking about, I'd forgotten totally about the sun going behind SAL2 on Monday at its best, but Friday I looked, or was monitoring, and also took a piece of card or a white envelope out to the dish. I was afraid that it was no longer spot on, but the MER still went on the beacon, still went down from 10 dB to 4 dB, which did surprise me. But the spot that I got, although not a really tight spot, because the dish is a fiberglass and optically rough, I guess you would call the surface, so it was blooming, would that be the right word? A little bit, but you could very easily see where the centre was, and it was covering 2/3 of the LMB, I suppose, on Friday. So presumably Monday, I think somebody had mentioned, was when it was pretty well exactly behind. So that was an interesting thing to have done. Anyway, that's it from me tonight. I can just looking at my picture through the streamer, and I can see it is very jumpy, isn't it, when I move. I do need to I will try and do something about that with the passage of time, but I'm a little bit like Nigel. Not just my software knowledge, but my familiarity with anything to do with a computer is quite poor, and I'm just pleased that I managed to get on in this form. But I've been on long enough, I really ought to do something about it. And by the way, Nigel, I use vMix, and it's running on the same PC as DATV Express, and it automatically, or the two of them automatically talk to each other. I had to do nothing to get that to work, so that's quite good, but I know not why. Okay, so it's going on to Benno, if you're still with us. Oh, it's good to hear from you, and nice to work you. I think you've maybe been on the net once. I seem to recall having seen you, but hello again anyway. And I'll say good night, but I'll be watching through right till the end. So, is that right? Because I think did John say he was going? Damn, I'm not quite sure about that. Just give it a second, Benno, because I'm not quite sure now whether John was going or not. So just see if John comes up, and if not, you take it. So G4HJW signing with a net for this evening.
Yeah, I was only going to come on just to say to Nigel, with regards to the blurry background. Ideally, what I should be doing is blurring the front of the foreground, but that filter doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Let me just set that up. So basically, all it is, Nigel, the fancy graphics card I've got allows me to do some bits and pieces, and one of which is you can blur the background. So that's the background blurred off. The idea is that, the way I see it is that it gives me a bit of privacy in the background. You can't see me little bit of rum I've got sat there, and B, it emphasises me more. So when you're on low bit rates, you can do bits and pieces like that. There's some other things you can do. You can do background removal. Where are we? Background replacement. So just sample pictures, whatever. Anyway, but you get the idea. So it does it all on the fly. So back onto that one. And there's some other bits and pieces as well with the sound. So on the sound, it's got a noise removal system, which it does very well with talking. But if I clap, you shouldn't hear the clap come through. At least that's the idea of it. Anyway, with that, I'm going to pass it on round to Bino, and hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. And oh, sorry, what I was talking about then. But anyway, pass it on round to Bino. Where's it gone? PA3 FBX G7 JTT.
Yeah. Let's see if we get some picture. Well, there we are. Hi. Great. Yeah, fun things with the background. You can play around with software to do those kind of things for you. Actually, what I really want to know is how you do that in that corner. Where's my clock? Well, somewhere around here. There's my clock, and you'll have this nice audio spectrum in your clock. So those kind of things I like. I still like, and I need to figure out how that works for me. Okay, well, no problem. Just Dave, I understand the problems with the quick tune, and obviously I already saw that quick tune did some strange things. So I quickly went to the presets in Ryde and found that also the preset on 333 on this channel, especially when you were on the beginning part, was not lucky on that system. So no idea yet, but obviously I just found out this evening at around 7 o'clock your time, and we still need to do some investigation there. So I'm not sure still what is the reason, because I know Ryde is mocking quite widely on the frequency, and it did it quickly on the 500 and on the 1500, and not on the 333, and also not on the 250 signal, which was on at that point, which I had on the network system without any problems. So, okay, well, still under investigation, I would say, and I will put it on the forum. And yes, I have been on the net occasionally, only a little time, because normally you have it on Thursday, I believe, and Thursday is my activity evening for outside. I need to do some sports, some tennis. So normally I won't be attending but on Saturday evening this fits me. And after the net today, after the Zoom conference today, it was a good opportunity to attend some extra information. And I only will attend if I have really something to tell you, obviously. Okay, greetings to you all, and hope to meet you again, all from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray, also signing off, and I'm passing on to, Mike 0 Delta Tango Sierra, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. As soon as I pressed transmit, it seemed to drop out. Right. Okay. Where we at? There we go. Yeah, evening everybody. Yeah. Thanks to all for the streaming and Cat 21. Very interesting stuff. You always learn a few things with little features that you think, I didn't press that button on ports down, I didn't find that menu, and various other things in Ryde and what have you. But yeah, all very interesting. Yeah, I watch most of it on and off during the day. I can do a bit of constructing in the background, but watch most of the talks. EMF was also very interesting. Fortunately here I've got the antennas a good like 30 meters away from the house kind of thing, so the majority of them kind of pass by default. But the big dish is a bit of an issue, but only well, that's basically just keeping track of who's nearby basically. But the big dish I normally point south, so it's away from the houses and buildings and everything, so really a problem there fortunately as well, even with quite high power. So. Yeah, what else was I going to mention? Yeah, I haven't updated Ryde yet. I need to do that and test Ducker. It's on my to-do list. We'll see how far we get with that. That should be good. Been playing around, doing some 3D prints today, trying to get this 5-inch screen, not for Potsdam, but for another project that I'm working on, into one of these. Make your own comments about the box. They're not the nicest of box, but they are the cheap option at the moment. So I've now got a way of mounting the 5-inch screen in one of the cheapy blue boxes. So like I said, they're not the nicest things, but yeah, it is a bit of blue tack holding the front on at the moment. But basically that's the 5-inch screen. If I zoom in a little bit and I get that just in the right position, you can see I've kind of made a little bracket which fits onto the pillars of the back of the PCB on the 5-inch screen. There's some holes in there to fit screws on the front, and then there's obviously just your usual cutout in the front panel. I actually did that on the milling machine just to make life easier. And yeah, there is just the same on the bottom. I had to do a cutout on my plate which I'm using in the bottom of the box, but yeah, basically it just sandwiches together. The front panel is 0.7mm thick, and that goes on the front. If I take that off and zoom back out, so I've got the STLs for these if anyone wants to make them. I don't know how it comes out on a regular printer, but that's how it came out on the resin printer. So there's a few cutouts there to where the holes go, and that's basically just going to double-sided sticky onto the front panel. But it makes quite a nice job of it. It's about 1.5 millimeters goes on there, so yeah, it makes quite a nice job. Just a shame about the box, that's all. But I won't say any more about that. I want the box number 4 of that type now, just because they are so cheap. 5-inch fit in a 2U. Ooh. I can probably tell you that without even moving the camera, but I don't think. Well, actually, right. So let's put it near the screen, here. Right, where we at? There. Happen to have 23 sems. Ooh. Right, let's see. Wow. At a push, quite possibly, but you'd have to mount it differently. But it all depends on. I would probably say no, unless it's a full height. Yeah, because that box isn't a full height, as you can see. There's a little bit of a gap on that, but a full height 2U will probably fit. Yeah. So yeah, there is a possibility for that. Very tight, but the screen is the same size as the board behind it. So yeah, you could angle it backwards, I suppose, and have it sticking out the front and 3D print the kind of holder for it. But yeah, anyway, possible. Well, it's given me an idea now. I do have a spare 2U case as well. So maybe the next port's down. Maybe I could put 2 screens in and have a band viewer on one side and band viewer / Ryde, maybe, and then ports down on the other. Oh dear, Colin won't be happy. Copying ideas. Yeah, Mike's put the dimensions there. 121 by 76. Yeah, of course it means more Raspberry Pis, but you might as well. Band viewer would probably run on a Pi 3, I would imagine. So maybe you don't need the Pi 4, but the Ryde would need that. So, I don't know. Ideas anyway. Yeah, the full size 2U case would just to say fit it, I would say. 88 pointing that, yeah. Going for 3. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I thought it would. Okay. Right. Anything else to mention? I was testing with Steve G4NZV again this evening, doing 23 SEMs, and he did manage to receive a signal off me via aircraft over the 280 kilometers. So we've managed to duplicate it on there. So we'll probably do another 70 SEMs test before the next one, and then we're going to try 2 meters when I take the 70 SEMs antennas down, because I can't fit the 2 meters in with the 2 70 SEMs ones without hampering the effort, I think. So there we are. Anything else? Anything else? I've been doing some more transmissions on 8.2 kilohertz, but yeah, I managed to get to Darlington, 17 kilometers on EV0, so we've managed to message that way. I'm doing a couple of consecutive days, and then we can average the signal and maybe get to Germany, but I don't think it's going to happen quite yet. So still playing around with that. And for you, John, unfortunately you didn't receive my signal either. I can't get anything out of it, and I did like a reverse correlation where I tell it what the message was and it tells it what the signal to noise was, and it couldn't see anything. So we're still a little bit off on that. Right, so yeah, thanks again everyone for today, and will I see you next week on the net? No, I won't be on for the next 3 or 4 weeks, just because I'm not as dedicated as Colin, and after I get in after the 12-hour shifts, no, I can't be bothered, unfortunately. Poor effort, but there we go. Right, I think that's back round to you, Dave GKQ M0DTS on CAT 21 Net. There we go.
Wait for the rides to sort themselves out, which they have done. So I've got sound. Okay, John, thank you very much for the text about the message about the audio level application. I'll take a look at that. Sorry I couldn't reply when you sent it. Things were a little busy, but I will take a look at that. Benno, I'll post a release note either tonight or tomorrow about the new software. So if you can post your results tomorrow after you've rebooted everything with the Mini Tuner S. There are some other changes we've made over the past 6 months or so, and it may be you picked up those when you did the update. We've reduced the scanning bandwidth, and maybe that is part of the issue. One thing you can check is what the beacon frequency is indicated on the screen. If the beacon frequency isn't indicated correctly on the screen when you press the info button, you've clearly got a problem. That's how I diagnosed the problem when I had it. Nigel, OBS, and this is for Nigel and Mike, VA3TEC. There is an article in CQTV, the latest CQTV, about running OBS, written by Mike G0MJW. So take a look at the latest CQTV for that. And Nigel, you made a comment on the chat today saying whether you were all right for EMF with your dish that's 2 meters high. I think the answer for that is yes. Unless somebody stands in front of it and puts their hand up in sort of on the edge of the dish, you're fine. So the answer is, with your dish 2 meters up the wall, you have no problems with EMF. You just need to write that, put a line in your logbook that says the dish is positioned so that nobody can get in the hazard zone, and I think you're covered. And I think, I know what the only other thing I had to say was, Mike, when Tim was streaming, he was a bit jumpy as well on the Zoom call. So I think it was Tim's input picture that was the problem. It's the internet coming past the dragons in Wales. Yes, the config file is good. It's very, very powerful. It's like working with root on a Linux machine. I think very powerful. But if you get it wrong, it just blows everything. But I must have a play and get familiar with it. But no, a really good day. So thank you, Tim, for your lecture on that. It's good to. It certainly demystified a few things for me as well. It was good to learn. Right, I'm going to wind things up because I'm pretty tired. I'll take a look at Mike's cameras possibly before I go to bed. But that's about it. It's been a long day. And yes, all right, Mike, Tim, it is easier to screw things up as root. So GHGKQ winding up the formal part of the CAT 21 net. Thanks all for joining us. I think it's been a good evening, and look forward to seeing you next Thursday, if not before. And thanks for joining us, Benno. So good night all. GHGKQ leaving the frequency clear.
You're quite correct. I turned the audio off. That's you're quite correct. Thank you. Thank you, John. You're quite correct. Thank you, John. That'll be John telling me I've got no audio. Thank you, John. He's still up, obviously. Yeah, what I was saying before I interrupted myself. Yeah, I managed to sleep through the cat. I stayed up. I thought, well, I won't go to bed at all. I'll stay up. But and I went and ended up. I didn't quite make it to Dave's, unfortunately. However, I will be studying the videos in depth. So that'll be very good. Right. Okay. I won't hold it. Okay. Oh, there we are. Oh, John's on there. Thank you, John. He's on the SQ as well. We're multitasking here. Oh dear, I shouldn't do it without. I've had some sleep, obviously, but not a lot. So I can understand the position of that other station there, who's also working nights. Oh, right, okay. I've got multiple chats going here. Multiple chats going on here. Anyway, there we are. That's all. That's very good. All right, okay. Oh dear. Yeah. So I was saying I'm just coming up to say I'm not coming on tonight. So just so there's no confusion. Mike on the SQ chat was suggesting various things because I put a tongue-in-cheek note that I had nothing to say, so which obviously created a few comments. But there we go. Okay then, but very well done to everyone who's involved with that. We know it is a vast amount of work to produce the any of the cats really, and a lot of people involved as well doing all their presentations, and that also takes a very long time to prepare. So we're all very grateful for all your efforts. So with that, I think I'll disappear. So cemeteries for now, G4KLB, now QRT, cemeteries.
This is just to demonstrate that I have now got the normal cameras back. What appears to be the problem is the HDMI capture card was using all the bandwidth. Yeah, the bouncing at the start is not an issue. That was finger trouble. You know when you double click on something? I double click on a script to start the FFmpeg, and I accidentally double clicked on it twice, so I was sending two transport streams, which doesn't have confused the Pluto, so that's what that was. So I've fixed that now. I think that was probably what happened last time. I should be, in theory at least, in 180p, and there ought to be good resolution of all those really useful boxes, but unfortunately I think I've set the camera to 720p. So let me just have a look at that. Yeah, let me set that to 1080p. This will cause all manner of confusion, and I don't know if that'll fix it, but I should be in proper HD. Yeah, I think that's right. But there we go. Right, good. That was just to tell Dave that I fixed the problem with the cameras, and the problem is USB bus overloading. So something you've got to be careful about. Yeah, it's not very much of a change, Rob, is it? I mean, part of the problem is the soft focusing of the Logitech. I was hoping the Polycom would be a bit better, but I don't think it is. So I'm afraid I'm not able to produce very high resolution, but it'll do. The test card's high resolution, so you can enjoy the test card. How about that?